Hello and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story this hour. As Israeli bombing of the Gaza Strip continues unabated, the Hamas-run Health Ministry has expressed fears of famine for more than 1.9 million displaced people. The United Nations had earlier said that the quantity of aid supplies entering Gaza is just 10% of what is needed for the territory's inhabitants. Now, the UN also added that 40% of Gazans are at risk of famine. Visuals have emerged showing thousands of Palestinians scrambling to get hold of supplies being delivered by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees. On the negotiations front, American news agency Axios has reported that Qatari mediators have conveyed to Israel that Hamas has agreed in principle to resume talks on a new prisoner swap deal. This deal aims to secure the release of more than 40 hostages held in Gaza in return for a month-long halt in fighting. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the border zone between the Gaza Strip and Egypt should be under Israel's control. This, as he predicted the war in the Palestinian enclave to last for many months.
או יותר נכון, הסוגר הדרומי חייב להיות בידינו, חייב להיות סגור, וברור ציר פילדלפי.
The Philadelphia corridor, or to put it more correctly, the southern stoppage point of Gaza, must be in our hands. It must be shut. It is clear that any other arrangement would not ensure the demilitarization that we seek.
Vowing to bring home all Israelis still held hostage in Gaza, Netanyahu said that the Israeli forces are involved in a complex fight and needed time to achieve its goals. However, the Israeli Prime Minister is experiencing pushback in his own country as thousands of protesters poured into the streets of Tel Aviv, calling for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's ousting. Demonstrators rallied for immediate elections over the management of the ongoing war.
The holding of the hostages is indecent and it's inhuman, and if there's anything I can do to try to affect it, I want to do that. But I also wanted to send a signal to the families that they're not alone.
Fighting on Saturday was focused in Al-Barej, Nazareth, Maghazi and Khan Yunis. Backed by intensive airstrikes, Palestinian health authorities said that the bombardment has killed 165 people and wounded 250 others in Gaza over the past 24 hours. The Hamas militant group has released a video showing various attacks by its fighters on Israeli targets in Khan Yunis. The video displays Hamas fighters engaging with Israeli tanks, armored vehicles and soldiers. On the other hand, suspected Israeli strikes targeted Syria's eastern region on Saturday. The overnight airstrike near a strategic border crossing with Iraq killed 19 Iran-backed militants, as reported by the War Monitor. Now, some of the murdered were reportedly from Lebanon's Hezbollah militant group, while other militants were Syrian. Now, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the strikes targeted military positions in Al-Bukamal and its surrounding areas in the Deir Eroz province. It also added that a weapons shipment from Iraq and an ammunition warehouse were hit. Meanwhile, tensions continue to simmer in the southern Red Sea as an American warship shot down 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles fired by Houthi rebels. The U.S. Central Command said that the Singapore-flagged Denmark-owned container ship had reported being struck by a missile. Responding to the ship's request for assistance, the U.S. destroyer shot down 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles launched from the Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen. Now, on the other front, the Hezbollah-aligned Al-Mayadeen News claims that the Islamic resistance in Iraq has attacked U.S. base in the Konoko oil field with 5 rockets, while another base in the Al-Omar oil field was targeted with 7 rockets. The Iraqi resistance has consistently expressed that they are targeting the US due to Washington's support for Israel's occupation in Gaza.